I woke up gasping from the acrid scent of scorched metal, not fire, not smoke, but the unmistakable tang of welding fumes. 3 decades as a structural engineer had etched that smell into my senses. High-end gear, heavy-duty joins right on my land. I didn't bother with shoes, padding outside barefoot and freezing in place. My property gate was fused solid. Heavy chains, fresh welds, locks radiating heat. Riveted to my fence was a metal plaque, code infraction. Entry restricted by Ridgeview Heights HOA. I paused there, my engineer's brain assessing. This wasn't petty bullying anymore. This was calculated aggression. That gate guard's ground my grandfather tamed with his bare hands. I've kept it pristine for years, gratis, so their enclave could span the creek daily without a second thought. And in one night they barred me. In the dawn hush, the cooling steel clicking like a timer. The ramifications hit hard. They had no clue what lifeline they'd just tested. Stick around, because when I struck back, a whole suburb discovered how tenuous their passage truly was. My name's Harlan Thorpe, but folks call me Hal. I'm 59, a retired structural engineer with 30 years crafting spans that stand the test of time. 4 years back, I lost my wife Lena to a flawed overpass where a municipal inspector skimped on checks. Since then, I've fixated on upholding the frameworks that bind societies. I dwell solo in a self-crafted timber lodge at the head of Shadow Brook, where the sole path into Ridgeview Heights traverses my kin's bridge. My grandfather erected that span in 1971 when this region was raw wilderness and bold visions. Back then, a word was bond. Monthly, my daughter Ava treks from Boulder, where she's a therapist. She hauls the grandkids, and we devote weekends schooling them on span wires and flood gauges. Ava frets over my isolation, especially as I tend my dad with Alzheimer's. His nursing home runs $4,100 monthly, and with Lena's lingering hospital tabs, my retirement stretches taut. But I manage. I warm with logs I fell myself, cultivate greens out back, and upkeep, all with the meticulous precision that sustained my projects for ages. Every rivet on that bridge gets monthly scrutiny, every flaw noted. Logs date to 1997, when I first permitted the suburb casual passage. Enter Vivian Sterling Kent. Imagine a 53-year-old corporate lawyer with a silver Porsche, $500 Pilates gear, and a grin sharp as a blade. She relocated in 2018 post-family meltdown, son's overdose scare, ugly split, job demotion. This idyllic hill enclave was her frantic bid to forge a bubble where mishaps couldn't penetrate. Each HOA edict, every style mandate was her shield against disorder. She eyed my rustic lodge and deemed it value-diluting. The waft of my dawn hearth fire over her pristine turf evidently unhinged her. My wind turbine for bill control was an eyesore. My orderly firewood pile, 3 cords of cured maple equaling my full winter fuel, was now a blaze, risk, and visual blight. In 5 months as HOA chair, Vivian rammed through fresh design unity rules. Dwellings must sport sanction-neutral shades. Services concealed. Sheds need style audits. My lodge, exempted for generations, now breached regs non-existent at these buyers' arrivals. The enforcement notice hit on a Wednesday, $3,500 for expert recoloring or risk passage, halt till fixed. I'd resided here pre most of these manses, but facts didn't count. My morning brew soured scanning that decree. Injustice bites deep and lingers. But here's what Vivian ignored about Harlan Thorpe. I'd built connectors for communities over 30 years. And I'd grasped a truth: master the bridge, master the dialogue. She was poised to learn that sealing a structural engineer's own entry was akin to jabbing a dormant grizzly with a lance. The dawn she locked my gate, I lingered on my lodge deck, eyeing her Porsche depart, tires grinding pebbles. Hill mist swirled off Shadow Brook as it had for half a century, yet dynamics had shifted. The playfield altered. I drained my mug, stepped in, and fired up my computer. If Vivian craved land rule games, she'd soon grasp why you avoid clashing with the man who engineered your vital links. Time to school 52 smug residents that their posh haven thrived solely because one resolute hill dweller permitted it. 3 days post-gate fiasco, Vivian ramped up with sniper accuracy. I was chopping logs out back when my neighbor, Mrs. Petrov, ambled over with a stiff envelope. "Hal dear," some posh lady in a silver car begged me to pass this, she murmured, concern etching her lined brow. Said it's urgent legal mail. Within, a formal district blight claim alleging my log stacks bred fire peril and aesthetic drag on values. Demanded prompt shift of all fuel storage 250 feet from builds. Expert fire chief review at my cost. Now firewood heating unpacked. Those 3 cords of aged maple tally $900 and my winter warmth fund. Each chunk split, piled, seasoned 20 months. Relocating solo is grueling labor ideally. With my worn hip from decades stooping under spans, it'd be agony. But worse, the filing held snaps of my hazardous methods zoomed from Vivian's terrace. She'd spied, chronicled my habits like a felon. I devoted 4 days hauling every bit, sensing scopes on me. Chainsaw fumes blending with perspiration, bitter fury on my palate, my hip howled per cart. Ibuprofen my shadow. On day 4, lugging the final barrow, I hit an engineering revelation. I motored to town, chatted pal Ken at the district roads office. Ken's tended hill spans longer than most breathe. Over brew and crullers, I quizzed on private span load caps. "Damn Hal, you're the pro," Ken chuckled. "What's yours rated?" I'd spec'd it for farm rigs, plows, bale haulers, trucks. Calc straightforward, 3.5 tons spread load, safety buffer of 2.5. Sedans hover 2-3 k pounds. Fine. But premium crossovers, another tale. That night I scoured auto masses online. Audi Q8 at 5,400 pounds, Lexus LX near 5,900. Lincoln Navigator hit 6,100 pounds. Opulence packs elephant heft, over twice my span safe. Next on I affix certified pro signs at span ends, bridge load limit 3.5 tons, offenders liable for harm, cross at peril, signs legit. As credentialed engineer, I owed posting true ratings on my upkeep. Then I channeled my grandfather's grit, set a camp stool on my deck with scopes and ledger. Daily 6:08 a.m. I logged overload breaches as the enclave commuted. Day 1, 16 infractions. Vivian's spouse's gray Navigator topped at 6,100 pounds. Her Pilates Pals Land Cruiser exceeded by 2,300 pounds. The broker touring listings hauled clients in a Tahoe fit for a jet. Day 4 sparked the pyrotechnics. Vivian braked hard at my span in her Porsche, window down, yelling pre-park. "This is torment, Hal, you can't slap random load rules." I approached with my pro pad, tweaked specs, spoke in the steady tone I'd used on site bosses for ages. "No ma'am, this is science. Limits set since '71. Just formalizing for coverage. Absurd, we've crossed for years." "Yes ma'am, piling where I've shouldered solo. Fancy full shutdown for deep check." Her expression soured like lime. Her Porsche at 4,200 pounds cleared, but her mate's daily Navigator jaunt now logged as risky thrust. She peeled out spraying stones, but not air, I noted. Ride 1 Porsche 911. Approx 4,200 pounds compliant. Operator showed volatile conduct, hinting instability. That eve I spotted traffic over my span dip 35%. Folks blind to engineering abruptly fretted ratings, just my aim. Vivian's counter hit precisely 8 days on, a gem of veiled hostility. I was swapping a warp plank when Ava rang from Boulder. "Dad, you got a $3,500 paint bill. Where'd you catch that?" "HOA site post. Crisis session notes last night. Voted mandatory lodge tint in neutral hues 45 days. Pro painter mandatory." I sensed that metallic wrath rising. "They did what?" "Labeling it enclave style adherence." "Dad, they uploaded your lodge pics, claiming it tanks value suburb-wide." I hung race to supply shop for tint quotes. Pro bids from $3,200. DIY base and coat for $1,300. SQFT lodge $900. Cash I lacked with Dad's home hounding. But true issue, my hip. 30 years scaling check rigs left a joint grinding like sand, aching in chill. Latter days extending would torment. I attempted anyhow. Stubbornness runs deep. Day 1, 5 hours till near tumble from 14ft ladder on hip C's. Day 2, Ava spotted me sprawled in drive by lunch, cold compress on hip, brush clutched in quaking fist. She sat silent beside. "Dad, this transcends cash now, huh?" I gazed at my girl, Lena's gaze and worry-eyed sparked. "No hun, it's them acting like I'm nothing, like Gramps build count zilch." "Then let's force recall why it does." Her fret lent focus for next steps. I rang Ken at Rhodes again, quizzed on private span check mandates for group access. "Funny timing, Hal, got a ping from that HOA dame on your span's audit timeline. Safety worries brewing, puzzles snapped like ideal specs." Vivian sought upkeep games, time to school her on ownership facts. That PM I poured over state codes on private span safety. Any serving over 6 homes needs yearly pro review. Mine fed 52 unchecked, formally 5 years. Prime cause for swift seal till full probe. Next am I tacked formal alerts at span tips, bridge shut for required safety audit. District Rule 1638, span 1021 days till engineer slot. By midday, calls flooded. By 3 p.m., cars queued deep as dwellers learned their quick hop to town now meant 14-mile wind around peaks. 6 min jaunt bloated to 50 min slog on twisty lanes. The elegance, total validity, not spite duty. Any pro letting unchecked public use corded suit stripping my all. The audit proper 4 hours, I knew that span like my pulse. But paperwork as needed. Initial reads show micro base fissures needing metal lab test I penned. Suggest prolonged seal till full pro eval. By day 4 enclave frenzy peaked. Vivian's firm shed a key account shunning the detour for meets. Broker couldn't tour as buyers balked 50 min drives. Even postal griped extra miles. My peak joy, day 5, spotting Vivian charter a chopper for a vital client to her firm. $1,400 for 9 min hop versus 50 min on hills. I sat deck with scopes nodding odd traffic when she caught me eyeing her bird touchdown. She stormed near, fury blazing. "How long, Hal?" I glanced from pro journal, tweaked specs, grinned like a man with edge. "Ma'am, old spans, you never predict deep dives." Helicopter were vanishing with symphony. The suit threat landed Friday via registered post, fat packet yelling litigation. Vivian wheeled to her forte, scare via upscale firm billing more hourly than my weekly take. 3 sheets of jargon distilling to, unseal span now or face major suit for deliberate trade block and group passage metal. I sat kitchen with cooling brew, feeling $4,100 monthly weight and shrinking funds unfit for court war. For 15 min I felt caged, primed to fold. Then Gramps' bully wisdom pre-defeat grasped game rules fully. I hit District Hall, spent weekend in archives basement reeking aged docs and dashed hopes. Dust swirled and bulb glow. Fingers ink from copies. Clerk Edna filing since Reagan guided through 45 years deeds and rights packs. "What you hunting, dear?" Prime passage pack for my span, writes clarity on these folk. Edna hauled crates untouched Ian's. We mapped timelines over tables, then it surfaced. In a 1997 addendum, ink pale but text peak firm, Gramps neat hand, interim 25er grace to Ridgeview Builders Inc., renewal at Grantor's call, no lasting right given, Edna date today, November 12. 25ers from April 97, April 2022, dear that right lapsed 7 months back, world tilted, I'd battled from unseen stronghold. For 7 months, each tire over my span trespassed expired rights. I raced to Boulder, dropped $350 I couldn't spare on land lawyer Alina Voss. Alina sported hiking boots with suits, spoke Rantrays not ivory tower. Mr. Thorpe, clarify you upkeep a span for 52 clans sans legal claim, docs say so. No upkeep cover upgrade fees ever, 25 or 0 cents. Alina leaned back, whistled. Buddy, no issue, you got 52 clans with pricey woe. She unpacked rights, lasting right transfers ownership. But temp grace expiring unless grantor renews explicit. Temp is temp, no matter attorney oversights. Most title hunts skip addendums and extras. Slack happens, buyers assumed eternal passage on shoddy checks. Their glitch not yours, options whatever, claim 25 or free use pay. Haggle fresh terms yearly fees, deny outright, toll per cross even. Law backs you. Drive home felt reborn. Each signpost noted return to turf where I held aces. 25ers treated like servant by dependents blind to my grace. That night I told overall, Dad unreal, fix your money binds, not cash hun, respect. So I'd lodge pain at Gramps span musing on packs that held and groups that cared. School and passages gift not due, gifts retract, word on lapsed right seeped. Hill Hamlets leak, days in, HOA chaos, crisis huddles. Attorneys over time, values dipping as truth dawned, posh turf might lock at one hill man's whim, but I kept building dossier. 25ers pester upkeep tabs, legal scares for costly tally. Justice grinds slow as peak stone but shifts remake all. Breakthrough at 3 a.m. sleepless from Lena's fatal span haunt. Rifling Gramps' chest for saves, fingers hit gold in folder tagged Ridgeview Builders, legal exchanges. Hands quaked opening. Gramps' full packed file, hand notes, letter dupes, even recorder log from Dev Meet February 97. Gramps' pale script like ghost voice, fresh dev eager but finance shaky. Gave 25er temp as aid, plan renege post builds, stressed aid not eternal, rang Ava instant voice shaky, hun found it, game changer, dad 3 a.m. here, Gramps meant temp. 25ers gone 7 months, all intruders, pauses sunk, dad you mean, we ace unaware of game. Drew Baum, April 1897 letter from Gramps to Ridgeview Builders Corp. This temp passage aid as personal boost to seed your group. Post 25 talk lasting based use upkeep costs, group conduct even beyond, Gramps armed me. Next AM Ava from Boulder with pads and Lena's resolve. Dad proper way, spread 25er tabs kitchen like war maps. $92,000 she tallied digits dancing. They debt you more than luxury rides. Never cash a no but respect hits $92,000 sometimes. That day laid for Alina Voss, her take ironclad, Gramps crafted temp with 25er check, smarter than many esquires. Alina unpacked land law plane, buy home title hunt flags access ties but firms slack extras. C-SPAN assume forever. 52 clans bought on half hunts, their attorney's fault, money scope stunned. Alina comp private toll spans in state, $55 per rig daily right. Times 52 homes, AVG 2 rigs, $5,720 day potential. Their domain bluffs, domain needs public good, HOA passage no-go per state, bluff away, no force tool that PM filed right non-renew notice with district logs. Legal sealed, mind shift all, not underdog V's giant. 52 clans built on others' charity now bullying benefactor for more handout. 52 clans to learn right versus gift. Vivian Sterling Kent to find some peaks unbudge no matter shove. Retired structural pro perk, know who calls for pro fixes to personal jams. Phone peak secure systems in Durango, chatted lead on urgent path seal for private span. Needed basic app run gate sealing span ends back up to bar mishaps. Got you covered, lead said. Mil spec steel gates for crisis locks. App op power reserve sabotage proof. Run from cell anywhere. Setup 5,200 1 month at $55 cross. Install 3 days in upkeep slot. While awaiting Ava up Saturday with pads and Lena's resolve. Dad proper, spread 25er tabs kitchen like war maps, checks, cement fixes, wire swaps, plank changes, steel boosts, plow gear, cover policy. Dad free service 25ers. Tally I pop, 25er tabs $92,548, sans my pro time at 55/HR min $92,000, Ava summed. More than car buys, never cash a no respect costs $92,000. Alina Voss docked legal. First file non-renew notice district, then log every upkeep you ate 25ers. Last comp fair access value free given. Needed backers found surprise in elder neighbor Mrs. Petrov. Here since 84 recalled Gramps Dev talks. Your Gramps clear on temp told me Dev honest but cash changes folk. Mrs. Petrov swore on Gramps aim. Better she'd logged Vivian's pester since 2019. That dame fined me $400 for my goat shed rural unfit. Had goats 18ers pre her palace. Install smooth. Old crew from Boulder up for routine span work. 25er mates knew my rigor trusted blind. Sure how queered Sam X lead masking gates as guardrails. 25ers their crap Sam sure gates at span ends rise like moat arms far standard gear up steel fort barring all. App clean 1 for crisis seal 30 sec count anti-oops, 1 for routine up dusk down dawn. When master key infra master users. Set activate 12:01 am lapse date 25ers 1 min post gramps start. Timing key legal. Lena firm no cut prelapse sec but post you golden. Ava gleaned intel via pallet tea house. They blind dad. Vivian spins your threats bluff. Sure she courts you out. Let her. Best foe underrate you. Last prep press handling. Ava ping channel 7 producer on underdog writes tail. Hooked on rich HOA versus blue collar span owner. Crew on district turf by span. If big we catch. All set. Docs filed. Gates tested. Press primed. Backers ready. In 48 HRS, 52 clans to find AM drive hinged on one hill man's grace. Years bullying to fold. Time school infra steady as keeper. Vivian's frenzy hit max 4 days prelapse. Must have scanned filing next play grenade loud. Began 6 AM call from district checker Tom Hale. Tom solid 16ers code sweat audible. Hal sorry complaint on your lodge base. Claim struck risk to span lead. Who lodged Tom that HOA head dame. Says public peril possible. New Tom hinted and said. This no routine Tom truth pause Hal straight she dangled $6,000 for condemn write-up, plus her mate's garden firm free redo my yard. Now clear why Tom choked. What you say said legit check first, but she hinted report type expected. Perfect. Vivian bribed official to guy my pal 12ers. Tom favor wire next meet you thinking inspector bribes for fake reports ethics board hates. Tom wired fall. What tape topped hopes. Vivian met Tom at town cafe figuring open less shady. Bruce sent with despair as she slid envelope. 6,000 cash as chatted need report lodge base risk span safety. Force evac till fix ma'am no fake doc felony not fake look deep find real issues sure. Tape got all bribe plot fake safety corrupt official state crimes. But Vivian dug deeper. That PM she hit my lodge with 2 suit guys alien to dirt. How wrong start maybe she cooed fake charm signaling ploy. Meet my counsel generous deal to skip strife. What deal $30,000 new right pack tenor renew inflation bump. Fair I eyed city esquires on my dirt buying out self-made mess via Slack hunt. Intriguing Vivian why think I sell span passage clear you need for dad's home. Win-win her dad health no meant finance probe thinking me weak. Ponder it I fibbed. 72 HRS chat my ask. Host leave rang Alina and state ethics. Tom's bribe tape prosecutor gold. Also hit 3 prior targets Vivian harassed last 3 years. Pattern legal scare checker corrupt to force HOA bow. Tried me said Maria Lopez her greenhouse noise hit. Dangled checker cash fake noise doc. I pushed she dropped hit softer marks. Doc tapes mails witnesses she runs harass machine. By Thursday eve proof multi-crimes corrupt pattern victim tailies, plus 72 HRS to gates up. Vivian thought time by to fix binds, blind to her criminal spotlight soon. Vivian's last gasp 36 HRS prelapse, blunder so grand Alina Voss odd. Hal check this called 7 AM Friday, filed rush domain grab with district board, claim group span passage public need, can try but life worst legal goof. Drove Alina's boulder spot found her a midtomes grinning holiday kid, domain needs true public ways classes clinics broad serve. HOA passage no per state. End fight crush, beauty bogus domain file liable all owner costs harms, Alina unearthed more in board file, petition sign Vivian's mate Curtis Kent as district planner. But planners no vote personal gain matters, auto oust from post, bits perfect. Vivian pushed mate abuse roll fix HOA jam, corrupt public interest clash office abuse logged on district head. Spent Friday PM showdown prep, gates checked ready, Alina filed counter exposing bad domain. Ethics unit warrant ready. Key, Ava set Channel 7 crew on district with span view, Friday events public. That night Vivian last haggle try, hit lodge with $60,000 bank check, peak breeze storm-scented matching chest strain, Hal reasonable please, $60. Zero fixes your woes we get long passage packed. Wins I'd check most cash since Lena's policy, tempted 15 sex, then recalled weld fumes dawn harass mail bribe tries 3-year system intimidate to oust family 50-year land. Vivian fund source, crisis HOA levy all pitched so 52 clans pay your legal flops mask slip sec Hal please my son needs special care, 3,500 month, values crash lose rebuild post, voice broke. Saw not tyrant but parent dread control loss again. Vivian get fear but no right wreck others. How enclaves run how share for shared goods return check pristine know what some unsellable honor regard peaceful land sans pester mask gone full. Huge error how post this broke homeless I got ties you can't fathom, maybe but 10 HRS fine ties zilch versus infra controller. She left gravel fling threats window yelled. But noted is gone mates navigator and drive Curtis zooming lodge picks. More domain proof likely or harass fuel no matter 10 HRS learn right versus wish. Spent Eve lodge deck hearing shadow brook under Gramp span. Chill air winter near stars sharpest year. Ava rang 10 PM dad sure gates up no quiet undo. Hun they louded welding my gate noise grabs ears sometimes. Crew set sheriff briefed esk ready dad massive good. Maybe HO able to see fight possible. Bed with phone stand, digit overgate app, auto 12:01 a.m. manual if watch live. 25ers free ends, 52 smug get costly rights school. At 12:01 a.m. lodge deck and Lena's robe, phone shake. 25ers give ends one tap. For you love, whispered peaks hit gates. Steel rose justice like locking 52 behind hubris. No show, just pro close under peak stars. Bed slept deep months best. Real drama 6:45 a.m. commute start. Coffee deck when first rig hit gates. Mr. Ellis street end in Toyota Camry likely store job. Stared min at 9ft steel pre-back phone someone. 25 min 14 rigs queued. Hour full enclave panic 41 vehicles wrong side gates absent bedtime. Kids school miss doc cancels old Mr. Ellis tearing Camry as hit. Horn echoes peaks music. I 7:30 a.m. Channel 7 chopper word aerial luxury rigs cattle like. Arranged crew district with zooms every chaos bit. Then Vivian bathrobe march slippers tailed 25 mad dwellers mourn disheveled. Rage top TV worry. Harlan Thorpe yelled 60 FT. Drop illegal walls now deck rail with mug paper slow specs hunt. Calm and costly gale. Mourn Vivian transport woe can't bar public. Kidnap jail illegal ma'am private land. Passage lapsed midnight. Alt via road 52 tilde 14 me. Sheriff Lopez arrived drama to legal shift. Mr. Thorpe blocks safety issue reports. Handed folder Alina prep. Sheriff Esk filed non-renew notice District 7 WKS back. Post 1201 trespass private. Lopez 12 min docs while Vivian raved illegal seals enclave hostage. Finally up face man grasping legal land spat. Ma'am Mr. Thorpe owns span packed lapse schedule. No crime but work miss. Kids school sad but civil court sort. Then hammer sheriff more interest. Handed Tom bribe tape. Mrs. Kent tried bribe district checker fake reports. Coord ethics unit. Vivian's face months worth 25ers pester. Panic as woes property to felony not done. Steps to 3 prep bankers boxes. 25ers docs upkeep slips harass notes threat mails. Sheriff also harass system checker corrupt planner abuse. Mrs. Kent's mate illegal domain sign via post. Channel 7 reporter taped all queries evening gold. Mr. Thorpe span upkeep cost. Mrs. Kent bribe offer checker. Peak Vivian Tesla flea media trapped wrong gates. Stuck, sheriff calm, Mrs. Kent needs alt transport aid. Chopper wear horns, one furious HOA head learning intimidate limits, sweetest tune heard, justice like solid specs time takes, but hit spectacular. Media storm for days, day 3, span lockout national on rights versus in title. A 2,800 mails from owners nationwide, HOA abuse tailies, legal pester bureau bully. My drama hit vein with long pushed folk. By day 4 Vivian's legal crumbled. Ethics arrested bribe plot, mate Curtis seat lost interest illegal. FBI white collar probe domain as Fed rights breach. True Joy Mediation, Post 96 HRS no span HOA pros begged rush talks. Hit District Hall with Alina 3 doc boxes, settle 25ers free with fair pay. Demands plain firm, 134,025 unpaid upkeep, $55,000 harass goodwill legal scare, fresh tenor packed yearly $13,000 upkeep, full drop style rules my land, settle needed crisis levy AVG $4,100 home, 4 clans sold versus pay Vivian's mesh share. Values dipped 18% access doubt what Vivian claimed prevent via pester. Most joy, post Vivian resign, enclave shift. New chair, ex-professor Laura Mills, Vivian bowled over herb plot lodge personal sorriers harass invite monthly as in for advisor. Neighbors eye avoiders now wave cross query whether thank upkeep. Settle cash cleared dad's debts trust his lifelong care. No more $4,100 night frets. Real win, shadow span upkeep fund nonprofit grants rural fixes 3 districts. $80,000 or invest, aid remote groups keep paths, spans, services linking world. Ava weekends now, grandkids hear Gramps Windtail learn pro basics. Saturdays check wires teach in for links groups. Yearly span check day true event kids graspin for trust not just mixed steel. 17 area teens I pro degrees. Kids load calcs struct remind why engineer build unifiers not dividers. 7 months post lock Hendrit from Mrs. Petrov thank bully lesson ordinary rights. Framed lodge wall by Gramps build snaps. Lessons plain vital, hunt prime deeds rights packs, log each breach upkeep tab temp rights lapse sans renew, key land rights beat group ease law no esquire scare count. Vivian Aiders Fed watch bribe ethics plus repay keep her occupied decade. Last year Texas move legal woes skip state peaks, but that checker bribe take, dig corrupt find heaps. Tom Hill's fake reports hit scores properties Niners, state AG probe on here big breaks soon. Share worst HOA tail comments. Read all, trust, just start property win tailies, sub more underdog versus giant fights, music. In the aftermath of the bridge standoff, the legal repercussions unfolded like a meticulously engineered demolition, slow at first, then cascading into total collapse for those who'd abused their power. Vivian Sterling Kent's downfall began with the bribery charges, rooted in her desperate attempt to corrupt County Inspector Tom Hale. Under Colorado Revised Statutes Section 188302, Bribery of a public official is classified as a Class 3 felony, carrying penalties of 4 to 12 years in prison and fines ranging from $3,000 to $750,000. But since her scheme involved falsifying public safety reports that could endanger lives, tied to federal oversight on infrastructure integrity, the case escalated to federal court under 18 U.S.C. Section 201, which prohibits corruptly offering anything of value to influence an official act. Prosecutors argued that her $6,000 cash envelope and promises of free landscaping constituted a clear quid pro quo, aiming to fabricate grounds for condemning my lodge and seizing control of the bridge approach. The trial in Denver's federal courthouse lasted 3 weeks, with the recorded coffee shop meeting serving as the prosecution's smoking gun. Witnesses, including Tom Hale and the 3 prior harassment victims I'd uncovered, painted a picture of a systematic pattern. Vivian had weaponized her position as HOA chair to intimidate residents, using bribes and threats to enforce arbitrary rules. This elevated the charges to include conspiracy to commit bribery and wire fraud, as some communications crossed state lines via email. Her defense claimed it was a misunderstanding born of community desperation, but the jury wasn't buying it. Convicted on multiple counts, Vivian faced up to 15 years per bribery offense, plus fines potentially tripling the bribe's value, over $18,000 just for that one incident. The judge, citing her abuse of trust and the broader harm to public confidence in local governance, sentenced her to 8 years of federal probation instead of full incarceration, a lenient nod to her role as a caregiver for her son. Probation terms were stringent. Mandatory restitution payments totaling $150,000 to cover investigation costs and damages to affected properties, 500 hours of community service, ironically, maintaining public parks in underserved mountain areas, and a lifetime ban from holding any public or HOA office. She was also required to attend ethics training seminars, a humiliating irony for a former corporate lawyer. Last I heard, she'd relocated to Texas, where flatter terrain might suit her better, but her probation officer ensures those restitution checks arrive monthly, keeping her tied to Colorado's legal web for the next decade. Her husband, Curtis Kent, didn't fare much better. As a county planning commissioner, his signature on the frivolous eminent domain petition violated Colorado's conflict of interest laws under CRS Section 188308. A Class 2 misdemeanor for failing to disclose a personal financial stake. After all, granting the HOA permanent bridge access would directly boost his own property value. But the real hammer fell under broader ethics statutes in Article XXIX of the Colorado Constitution, which prohibits public officials from actions where they have a direct interest. The State Ethics Commission investigated, uncovering emails where Curtis discussed the petition with Vivian, explicitly linking it to their HOA woes. Penalties included immediate removal from his commissioner seat, a $10,000 fine, and disqualification from future public office for 5 years. The FBI's white-collar unit tacked on a federal probe for abuse of office, potentially adding up to 10 years if elevated to corruption charges, though he plea bargained down to probation and restitution. His landscaping business suffered, 2 county contracts dried up amid the scandal, forcing a sale at a loss. The ripple effects extended to the HOA itself. While Colorado HOA laws under the Colorado Common Interest Ownership Act, CCIOA, focus more on civil remedies than criminal ones, the association faced multiple lawsuits from residents for fiduciary breaches. Vivian's harassment campaign violated CCIOA Section 3833.32095, which requires fair enforcement of covenants without discrimination or abuse. The HOA was hit with $250,000 in collective damages, funded by emergency assessments that averaged $4,800 per household, ironic justice, as families paid for the very overreach they'd enabled. Several board members resigned, and the State Division of Real Estate imposed oversight, mandating annual audits to prevent future abuses. Penalties for the HOA included suspended registration privileges, meaning they couldn't enforce fines or liens until compliant, a blow to their authority. But the deepest probe targeted Inspector Tom Hale's complicity. What started as one bribe unraveled into a web of corruption spanning 9 years, with falsified reports affecting over 50 properties, some leading to wrongful evictions or unsafe structures. The Colorado Attorney General's office launched a full investigation under public corruption statutes, charging him with multiple counts of official misconduct, CRS Section 18844, a Class 2 misdemeanor per instance, and accepting bribes. Penalties could include up to a year in jail per count, fines up to $5,000 each, and permanent revocation of his inspector's license. As of last update, indictments were pending against two other officials he'd implicated, with rumors of a plea deal that might expose even more entrenched graft in rural county offices. The AG's office cited it as a landmark case, potentially leading to statewide reforms in inspector ethics training. These consequences weren't just punitive, they reshaped the community. The scandal spurred local legislation proposals for stricter HOA oversight, including mandatory conflict disclosures for board members and caps on fine accumulations. For me, it was validation. Infrastructure battles might start with steel and concrete, but they end in courtrooms where accountability bridges the gap between power and justice. If you're dealing with similar HOA tyranny, document everything, because when the law catches up, it hits like a structural failure. Share your worst HOA horror story in the comments below. I read every single one, and trust me, we're just getting started with these property rights victory stories. Subscribe for more David versus Goliath battles. I awoke in a panic, my throat seizing from the piercing stench of charred metal, not the comforting haze of a campfire, not the sharp bite of smoke, but the raw industrial assault of welding fumes that clawed at my lungs like a predator in the night. 30 years forging unbreakable spans had branded that odor into my soul, a harbinger of heavy machinery invading my sanctuary. Barefoot and furious, I bolted outside, gravel biting into my soles, only to halt dead as if struck by lightning. My gate, my lifeline to the world, was a fortress of betrayal, massive chains fused with gleaming, still-sizzling welds, locks hot enough to brand flesh. Bolted cruelly to my fence, a mocking steel edict, code violation, access denied by Ridgeview Heights HOA. My engineer's mind raced like a runaway train, calculating the audacity, the precision of this assault. This wasn't mere spite, this was war declared in the dead of night. That gate-protected soil my grandfather had wrested from the wild with bloodied hands. For decades I'd tended it silently, a gift to their gilded enclave, letting them glide over my family's bridge without a whisper of gratitude. And now, in one brazen act, they'd slammed it shut, severing me from my own legacy. In the eerie dawn silence, the metal pinged like a countdown to apocalypse. The stakes crystallized in my gut, they'd awakened a storm they couldn't comprehend. Hold on tight, because when I unleashed my counterstrike, an entire suburb of the elite trembled, learning the terror of a crumbling foundation. My name's Harlan Thorpe, but they call me Hal the Unbreakable. At 59, a battle-hardened structural engineer retired after 30 years erecting bridges that defied gravity and time. For agonizing years ago, I cradled my wife Lena as she bled out on a collapsing overpass, victim to a corrupt inspector's fatal negligence. That nightmare ignited a fire in me, a relentless drive to safeguard the arteries that pulse life through communities. Now I haunt my self-hewn timber lodge alone at Shadow Brook's Maw, where the lone vein into Ridgeview Heights snakes over my kin's defiant bridge. My grandfather hammered that span into existence in 1971, when these hills were untamed beasts and dreams were forged in sweat. In those days, a man's word was ironclad, unbreakable. Each month my daughter Ava barrels up from Boulder, her therapist's heart heavy with concern, towing the grandkids for lessons in resilience. We prowl the bridge, teaching them to probe wires like veins, gauge floods like impending doom. Ava's eyes plead for me to flee this isolation, especially with Dad's Alzheimer's devouring him at $4,100 a month, compounded by Lena's crushing medical debts that gnaw at my pension like vultures. But I endure, felling logs for heat, tilling earth for sustenance, scrutinizing every inch with the ferocity that kept my creations standing against tempests. Bolts inspected monthly like sacred rites, cracks chronicled as omens, records stretching back to 1997, the fateful year I bestowed casual passage upon the encroaching suburb. Then Vivian Sterling Kent slithered into the fray, a 53-year-old corporate viper with a silver Porsche that screamed entitlement, $500 Pilates armor, and a smile that could slice through steel. She invaded in 2018, fleeing a personal Armageddon, her son's overdose brink, a divorce that left scars like shrapnel, a career implosion. This serene hill fortress was her frantic fortress against fate's chaos. Every HOA decree became her iron fist, every aesthetic edict a barricade against the unpredictable. One glare at my rugged lodge and she declared holy war, its rustic soul a blight on her perfect empire. My morning hearth's smoke curled like a taunt over her flawless lawn, driving her to madness. The wind turbine I'd rigged to defy soaring bills, a monstrous eyesore. My meticulously stacked firewood, 3 cords of cured maple, my shield against winter's icy grip, branded a ticking inferno and visual abomination. In a mere 5 months as HOA despot, Vivian orchestrated a coup. Draconian design edicts rammed through like a battering ram. Homes shackled to neutral pallets, utilities buried like secrets, outbuildings subjected to tyrannical audits. My lodge, sanctified by generations of exemption, was now a rebel outpost in a regime of conformity. The ultimatum crashed down on a Wednesday, $3,500 for mandated recoloring or face exile from my own bridge. I'd anchored here before their mansions rose from the dirt, but history was dust to her. My coffee turned to poison as I absorbed the decree, injustice igniting inferno in my veins. But Vivian underestimated Harlan Thorpe. I'd sculpted lifelines for societies over 3 decades, mastering the axiom, command the bridge, command the apocalypse. She was about to learn that barricading a structural titan from his domain was like igniting dynamite in a powder keg. The morning her minions fused my gate, I stood on my deck like a sentinel, watching her Porsche slither away, tires devouring gravel in triumph. Mist boiled off Shadow Brook like the breath of an awakening dragon. The world had tilted on its axis. I drained my mug with trembling hands, stormed inside, and awakened my digital arsenal. If Vivian thirsted for territorial domination, she'd soon taste the fury of challenging the architect of her fragile existence. Time to shatter the illusions of 52 arrogant souls, revealing their opulent paradise as a house of cards propped on one unyielding hill dweller's mercy. 3 heart-pounding days later, Vivian launched her next salvo with the ruthlessness of a guided missile. Mid-log split, my axe frozen in mid-swing, Mrs. Petrov shuffled over, her face a mask of dread, clutching an envelope like a death warrant. Hal, some silver-tongued serpent in a fancy ride, insisted I deliver this, she whispered, voice quaking. Claims it's a legal time bomb. Inside, a venomous district blight accusation decrying my log stacks as a blaze apocalypse and aesthetic plague eroding fortunes. Mandate, exile all fuel 250 feet from structures pronto. Fire chief scrutiny on my dime. Firewood wasn't mere fuel, it was survival, 3 cords equaling $900, my bulwark against winter's lethal embrace. Each log a testament to 20 months of backbreaking toil, relocating alone, a Herculean torment. With my ravaged hip scarred from decades in the underbelly of beasts, pure hellfire awaited. But the dagger twist, incriminating zoom lens shots from her terrace, evidence of her predatory surveillance, turning my routine into a criminal dossier. 4 grueling days I battled, sweat stinging like acid, chainsaw roar drowning my rage, every load a scream from my hip. Ibuprofen my bitter ally, paranoia my shadow, eyes boring into my back like lasers. On the 4th dawn, heaving the final load, epiphany struck like thunder. I roared to town, cornered pal Ken at Rhodes HQ over steaming brew and crullers, probing private span load thresholds. Hell Hal, you're the wizard, Ken barked with a laugh. What's your beast rated? Farm grade fortitude, 3.5 tons dispersed, safety margin 2.5, sedans, harmless gnats, but those behemoth luxury tanks, doomsday. That twilight I devoured, vehicle specs online, heart pounding. Audi Q8, 5,400 pounds of arrogance. Lexus LX, 5,900 pounds of excess. Lincoln Navigator, 6,100 pounds of impending catastrophe, double my span's breaking point. Dawn broke with my retaliation, certified warnings emblazoned at span flanks, bridge load limit 3.5 tons, violators culled for ruin, trespass at mortal peril. Legitimate as gospel, my credentials demanded truth in peril postings. Embodying Gramps' indomitable spirit, I perched on my deck throne with scopes and ledger, a vigilant judge. Dawn patrol, 6:08 a.m., cataloging the damned as they surged to their empires. Day 1, 16 sinners. Vivian's consort's gray Navigator, a 6,100 lb juggernaut. Her Pilates cronies Land Cruiser bloated by 2,300 pounds of hubris. The broker's Tahoe a client-hauling Leviathan. Day 4 erupted in pyrotechnics. Vivian screeched to halt, window plummeting, venom-spewing pre-ignition. This is sadistic warfare, Hal, you can't rewrite physics on a whim. I sauntered over, clipboard a shield, specs perched like a crown, voiced the calm before cataclysm. No ma'am, this is inexorable science. Limits etched in 71, merely broadcasting to avert my ruin. Preposterous, we've traversed unchallenged for eons. I, piling invisible fractures I've borne alone, crave a total blackout for forensic dissection, her face contorted in acidic fury. Her Porsche skimmed under at 4,200 pounds, but her mate's Navigator ritual, a documented death sentence. She fled in a gravel hailstorm, but my ledger immortalized. Vehicle 1, Porsche 911, 4,200 pounds compliant, operator volatile, teetering on madness. By dusk, span traffic plummeted 35%, ignorant elites suddenly gripped by structural terror, my engineered nightmare unfolding. Vivian's vengeance struck 8 days later, a masterpiece of shadowy aggression. Mid-plank swap, Ava's call shattered the air. Dad, a $3,500 paint edict. It's blasted across their site, crisis decree last night. Your lodge branded a value vampire. Rage boiled metallic in my throat. They dare, enclave purity purge, pics of your haven splashed like wanted posters. I barreled to suppliers, quotes a gut punch, pro work $3,200, DIY $900, I couldn't bleed. But the true torment, my hip a grinding relic of ladder wars, screaming in chill. Latter days, suicide pact, defiance propelled me 5 hours till hip betrayal nearly hurled me from 14 feet. Day 2, Ava discovered me crumpled in dust, compressed clutched, brush a frozen talon, silent vigil beside. Dad, this war's devouring you. Gazing into Lena's echoed eyes, fractured by my strife. No, it's their erasure of our bloodline. Then ignite their reckoning. Her anguish forged my blade. Back to Ken, grilling span audit mandates. Peculiar timing, your HOA harpy queried your beast's pulse. Safety hysteria brewing. Mosaic complete, Vivian's upkeep gambit. Time to hurl infrastructure's harsh truth. Afternoon devouring codes, span serving 6+ demand annual pro vivisection. Mine fed 52 untouched 5 years grounds for immediate quarantine. Dawn decrees bridge sealed for vital audit. District Edict 1638. 1021 days to engineer verdict. Calls erupted by noon. By 3 p.m. vehicular serpents coiled in despair 6 min jaunts mutated to 50 min mountain gauntlets. Elegance and legitimacy not vengeance vigilance unchecked passage. Lawsuit Armageddon stripping my soul. Audit 4 hours of intimate dissection paper trail an eternity of my design. Initial scans microfissures demanding lab crucifixion. Prolonged quarantine for doomsday probe. Day 4 enclave in hysterical meltdown. Vivian's empire hemorrhage clients shunning the labyrinth. Brokers' dreams withered. Postals cursed the miles. Zenith thrill. Day 5 Vivian's chopper desperation $1 400 for a 9-min evasion. Deck vigil with scopes she spied my gaze on her aerial escape. Stormed forth eyes infernal. How long you monster? Journal glance specs tweak grin of triumphant predator. Ma'am, ancient guardians harbor secrets that devour the unwary. Rotor fade victories roar. Litigation bomb detonated Friday dawn certified doom and bloated sheaf. Vivian's arena terror via elite firm hourly eclipsing my weekly blood. Jargon storm unseal or perish in commerce sabotage suits. Kitchen vigil brew congealing $4,100 specter looming funds a whisper against court gales. 15 minutes of suffocating defeat. Then Gramps echo, master the game's shadows pre-surrender. Strict archive siege, weekend in paper purgatory wreaking antiquity and shattered illusions. Dust wraiths in harsh light, fingers blackened. Clerk Edna Reaganier a sentinel navigated deed labyrinths. Quest dear, prime passage packed writes naked truth. Crates exhumed, timelines resurrected. Revelation in 97 codicil, faded ink, granite resolve, Gramps script, interim 25 mercy to Ridgeview, renewal my throne, no eternal chain. Date Edna, November 12. 25 from April 97, April 2022, lapsed 7 moons ago. Vertigo struck war from Phantom Fortress, 7 months of unwitting invasion, Boulder Blitz $350 hemorrhage to land Sharkalina Voss, boots and suit Maverick ranch-tongued. You nursed 52 Viper Sands claim, script decrees, 0 tribute 25 years, whistle sharp, no snare you wield their noose, rights unraveled, eternal binds chain land, temp grace. Evaporates Sands royal decree, title slop skipped appendices, buyer's delusion not my cross, options reap retro tolls, forge fee empires, bar forever per cross levy lawyer blade, homeward soar milestones hymns to dominion 25 years servant to blinding greats, ava debrief dad jackpot, not gold honor. So, lodge gaze on Gramps' defiant arc, pinning for bonds unbroken, teach privileges fragility, lapse leak ignited enclave inferno, huddles frantic. Esquires besieged, values plunging as whim terror dawned, dossier amassed 25ers torment tabs threats for reckonings blaze justice glacial yet seismic, 3 a.m. inferno Lena's ghost haunting, chest raid yielded folder fortress Ridgeview legal wars, quaking unveiling Gramps arsenal notes dupes recorder ghosts from 97 dev parley. Spectral script, green dev finance frail, temp aid seated, renege postnest, aid not chain, ava roused, found Armageddon. 3 a.m. dad, Gramps temp decree, lapsed intruders all, dawn true cataclysm April 97 missive temp boon to birth your realm, post 25 eternal parley unused cost conduct posthumous thunderbolt, ava arrived pads ablaze with Lena's fire. War proper, kitchen war room 25 ledgers, $92,000 digits danced, debt grander than thrones, never coin a respects toll $92,000. Ina feast, fortress proof, Gramps engineered review trap, landlore plane title hunts botch extras, 52 delusions on half-truths their malpractice, toll comps $55 daily per rig, 52x2 $5,720 Dawn harvest, domain phantom, public need only HOA whim dust, non-renew filed sealed fate. Shift seismic not prey 52 charity addicts bullying for more, 52 to taste rights blade versus gifts whim. Vivian to shatter on immovable peak, pro perk supplier whispers for cataclysm kits. Peak secure hail app gates for span Armageddon, Millsteel crisis locks app rain sabotage proof, $5,200 monthly toll tithe install and upkeep veil, Ava Saturday siege war maps of tabs fixes swaps boosts plows policies, free Empire 25ers. I Widener $92,548 sans sweat equity at 55/HR, respects invoice, Elena scripted file lapse log burdens comp gratis gold. Ally unearthed Mrs. Petrov 84 veteran Gramps echo, temp explicit dev honest cash corrupts, sworn blade plus Vivian harass chronicle since 19, $400 goat fine pre her palace, crew install trusted brethren blind faith, sure how 25ers venom gates veiled as rails rise to iron doom. App Crisis Countdown Dusk Dawn Cycle Infra Lordship, Activation 12:01 a.m. Lapse Post Mercy 2nd. Ava Intel via T-Spy, Blind to Blade, Vivian mocks threats, Underestimate Fatal, Press Trap Channel 7 on Underdog Epic, Crew poised for spectacle all armed 48 HRS to commute Cataclysm, Bully Year's End in Infra Revelation, Vivian's hysteria peaked 4 prelapse days, Filing Revelation birthed Grenade Frenzy, 6 a.m. quake Tom Hale's sweat-drenched plea. Lodge base complaint struck peril to span. Source, HOA which public doom implied. Truth spill $6,000 condemn bribe yard boon, pals torment. Favor wire rematch, tape gold cafe cloak envelope slide. 6,000 base risk report evac trigger. No felony forge, deep hunt yields truth. Bribe symphony felony crescendo deeper dig lodge assault with suit sharks. Wrong foot hal kool-laced venom. Council offers mercy $30,000 packed. Why sell soul, dad's bills beg. Finance probe exposed. 72 HRS ponder. Post-flight Alina ethics blitz, tape dynamite, prior prey trio, pattern plague scare, corrupt, conquer, recordings abound, harass Hydra. Thursday Eve felony fortress victim choir, 72 HRS to Gates awakening, her time by, criminal curtain call. Last lunge 36 HRS pre-blunder epic Alina gleeful, rush domain grab public need farce. Viable, life's fatal fumble. Office melee Tomes tower grin manic, domain public pure, HOA. Annihilation, crush plus bogus liable costs. Unearth, make Curtis planner sign interest poison. Oust $10,000 lash office exile bits blaze abuse orchestra on letterhead. Friday prep Gates primed counterfiled warrants cocked channel 7 vantage spectacle imminent. Eve Parley $60,000 check storm brew matching pulse. Reason how woes solved pact eternal. Temptation flicker Lena's legacy sum. Then weld ghosts bribe shadows 3 years exile plot. Source, levy blood, mask shatter, son's care crumbles values Armageddon. Fractured parent glimpsed, fear no wreck warrant, shared sacrifice, check rebuffed unsaleable dignity peace, error colossal ruined homeless ties Titanic, 10 HRS ties versus in for God, threats fade mates zoom lurk feudal, eve vigil brook him under Gramps arc, winter bite stars daggers, Ava 10 p.m. sure, irrevocable. They ignited, noise awakens, bed app hover auto 1201 manual vigil option 25ers mercy ends 52 schooled and writes wrath, 1201 robe clad deck hand quake. For you, peak plea gates ascend, steel justice seals hubris, silent cataclysm under celestial jury slept profound, 645 inferno commute clash, deck coffee first victim Mr. Ellis Camry stairs abyss, min gape retreat calls frenzy. 25 min 14 coiled, hour 41 trapped in nocturnal absence, school voids heels halted elders weeping, horns wail peaks dirge, 7:30 chopper vultures luxury herd aerial shame crew captures chaos, Vivian robe rage march slipper slap mob-tailed disheveled fury. Drop walls tyrant 60 FT shriek rail poise mug paper specs ritual mourn Vivian transit apocalypse public bar felony cage private realm lapse midnight. Dieter 52 14 me purgatory Sheriff Lopez block peril alerts folder thrust non-renew filed weeks trespass dawn 12 min scrutiny amid Vivian's hostage howls ma'am his span lapse legit no crime worlds crumble civil hell court forge hammer fall more bribe tape ethics coord face apocalypse felony dawn boxes unleash 25ers torment trove. Harass empire corrupt choir planner perversion, reporter feast upkeep toll. Bribe proof zenith Tesla trap gates prisoner. Alt-age sheriff, warhorn fury symphony intimidates requiem, justices forge time rot spectacular blaze, media maelstrom 4 days span siege national rights war cry, 2,800 missives HOA horror echoes struck tyranny's nerve, day 4 Vivian's empire dust, arrest bribe symphony, Curtis ousted interest sin, FBI rights probe, mediation bliss, 96 HRS exile begs parley. Hall with Alina Doc Armory, 25ers settle, demands iron $134,000 upkeep blood, $55,000 harass scar, tenor pack $13,000 annual, style chains shattered, levy lash $4,100 AVG, 4 flea sales, values 18% abyss Vivian's prophecy self-fulfilled, post-Vivian metamorphosis, Laura Mills apology pilgrimage advisor throne, waves queries thanks cascade. Cash clears debts trusts eternity. Win Pinnacle Shadow Fund $80,000 or Rural Lifelines. Ava Weekends Telltale Proceeds. Check Day Festival Trust Forged 17 Teens Pro Bound. Calcs Remind Unify Not Sever 7-month Petrov Parchment framed by Gramps Ghosts. Lessons Forged D Dive Log Legions Temp Twilight Rights Eclipse Ease. Vivian Aiders Watch Repay Chains Texas Exile Woes Linger. Checker Rot Niners Plague 50 plus scars. AG Hunt breaks brew, share HOA Abyss comments, all read Wright Saga's Dawn, sub Goliath Falls.